Hello, friends. If you're on here, welcome to the show tonight. Oh, see, we got some people on here, 100 people. There's my guy, Andrew Bowen. You can always count on him, buddy. He's going to be here. You better believe it. Greg Langbecker. What's up, Moorhead? Pam Day, Sandy Doherty, Perkins, Oklahoma. Vivian Meyer. Hello, Miss Meyer. Brian Subter, or Subler maybe, from Greenville, Ohio. I can't see very well. There's my buddy Chad from Nebraska. Gina from Toledo, Ohio. Christy Scooby from Missouri. Mr. Larry Kelly from Missouri. Hello, Miss Carolyn from Seneca. All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. There's Trina Welch. There's Miss Joe from West Virginia. Got them coming on from all over. Hello, Larry Richards from Bourbon, Missouri. Got the folks out in Colorado, the Flagans, Danny McDonald, Fig Newton. And guys, there's a lot of you say, well, he never called my name out. I'm just calling out what I see on the board here. Okay? So forgive me if I don't call your name out. Mike Odell, Blue Springs, Missouri. Danette Wilson, hello. I think she's from North Carolina. And there's old Jerry Miller out in Twin Falls, Idaho. Fig Newton in the house. The Glovers. Yeah, Roberta. All right, welcome. Welcome, everybody. What's up, Candace? The Ogles from Wisconsin are in the house. Donnie Starkey, or probably his worst half, Rita. Don't you start with me, Rita. Oh, my gosh. All right. Hey, Bud from Nebraska. Hey, Jackson. There's Miss Neva. Miss Neva Pierce. Welcome, Miss Neva, in South Alabama. And, yes, Chuck and Laurie Phillips. My buddy Ron Gibson over in Shreveport. Yeah, I know, Rita. I know. Sometime I'm going to have to get y'all in on all the joke, inside stuff, man. Y'all going to love it. Okay? I can't tell you everything. Oh, there's some inside jokes here. What's up, Coach, out in Colorado? Manny Otis. And there's Northern Idaho, Wayne Terrace. Pam from North Carolina. Michael Schaefer. Lisa from Indiana. Terry Take It Off from West Tennessee in the house. And lots of folks here. And got a question right there. Rebecca, I want you to repeat your question a little bit later, okay? And I'll answer it. Okay, hello, Connie Lewis Collison. Greg Kemple from Ohio. Trina knows. Yeah, I know. Not far from 10. I said 10:30-ish. That way people can't get on me. I said ish, you know. And so hello from Minnesota, Nancy Walter, Karen and Tom Johnson from Springdale, Arkansas. Oh, that's right. Rita knows where you live. Yeah. Yep. If I see her, I'm shutting the gate. Okay. Greg Weiser, South Dakota. Hello from the Jacksons in Colorado. Deb's Ace. Glad you're back. Glad to be here. There's Mom. Hi, Mom. Hi, Mom. I feel like those athletes in the 1980s. Hi, Mom. Every time the camera went on them. Okay. All right. So we got about 10,000 on here, so I'm going to go ahead and get her started. I want to tell you, I hope you've had a great weekend and ready to get back at it. I know that I have, and I want to tell you up front tonight, it's not going to be a long one tonight, okay? I'm going to be very specific as I go into this topic tonight and in the next coming days, because I want this there's a lot to digest here. And quite honestly, there's a lot that I don't totally understand myself yet. So there's a lot to digest here. And so I want to just get into the fundamental foundations of it tonight. Okay? And then we'll progressively get more intense as we go along here. Okay? So tonight we're going to be talking about Nesara, Gesara. And you're probably wondering, what does that mean? It's Nesara, okay, capital Nesara, and it is the National Economic Securities and Reformation Act, okay, and Gesara is the global side of it, outside the United States, okay. Our numbers are always higher than Biden's numbers. Yes, you know, it's like I was telling the guy the other night, you did a great job and you outdid somebody else, and you know, and they said, well, I don't know that the bar is that high, but I said, well, no, it's not, but you still outdid him. Okay. And so the bar's not very high for Biden, but we are outdoing him. Okay. So that's great. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to get into, and I'm going to turn off these chats so I can pay close attention if I can. And again, let me tell you kind of what has transpired on the, well, I'm not getting it to work as usual. Okay, so forget it. I'm not getting it to, let me tell you what's transpired. Okay. We're not really sure why the YouTube is not letting us go live from my phone. You know, I think we've met all the requirements. I'm going to have some people checking into that more tomorrow. I've also got people checking in on all of the YouTube, how to get around their rules or whatever constantly. And that sort of thing. So for right now, we're here. We're going to get back to the YouTube channel real soon, in the next couple of days, hopefully. And so anyway, that's kind of why we're here tonight. Okay, so let's get into it. All right. So what is Nesara? Well, basically, I'm going to give you a little bit of background here, and I want to give a disclosure here before I get too far into this. Okay, I'm not saying this is the gospel. Okay, I'm not saying that. Okay, there's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of disinformation. There's a lot of things that have been deleted from the public record concerning this. Okay, so if you read about it on the internet, you're going to read a bunch of crap, just put it bluntly. You're going to read a bunch of disinformation. You're going to read a bunch of people saying it's not true. You're going to read all kind of stuff because they've stricken it from the record, or striked it, or whatever the word is, from the record a long time ago. And they have a lot of people under gag orders under the threat of treason. And so anyway, it's a very kind of deal. There's not a lot of information out there about it, but from what I understand, it's never been misproven, or disproven, I should say. And they're saying it could start at any time. Okay. And when I say any time, I mean like some of it's already started. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a little 10-minute video here. This guy's speaking with a foreign accent, so I think he's from Britain, maybe. But it's pretty good. And then I'm going to stop it midway through, and I'm going to explain some things. Okay. Now, let me say this. The Nesara was supposed to originally, my understanding is this was originally supposed to happen on September the 11th, 2001 at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. This was originally supposed to go into effect at 10 a.m. on September the 11th, 2001. Now, the cabal, the deep state, the bankers, the international bankers, the bad guys, does not want this to happen. Because you have to understand something. And this goes way back, all right? Now, I'm going to give you something to reference here. Just jot a note of this, and I want you to do some research on it. And I've mentioned this before. The creature from Jekyll Island. The creature from Jekyll Island, Georgia, is an island off the coast of Georgia there. And it was there in early 1910, 11, 12, 13, somewhere around in there, that international bankers met from all over the world. And they figured out a way to basically strong arm the U.S. government into getting off of the gold standard and letting them print the money. Now, I'm going to be giving you a lot of info here off the top of my head, which it may go in and out, okay? And then I'm going to come back tomorrow with some more solidified stuff for you. But I'm just giving you a little introduction tonight. The Rothschilds, okay, or what's known as the Red Shield, Rothschild or Red Shield, okay, is a German, I think a German name, and they originally, along with you got it, Trina. JFK was shot for this. That's exactly right. JFK was shot for this. He was going to do this too. And JFK said, there's a secret global cabal of people that are wanting to control the whole world. And they're doing it through, what am I looking for? Not invasion, but subversion. Okay? JFK wanted to take us off of their fiat money system. Now, let me explain what fiat money system is very briefly, okay? I've always thought it was another word for fake, I guess, but fiat, F-I-A-T, fiat money system. And what it means, again, is our money, if you've got dollar bills, our dollar bills, okay? Pull this out. So our dollar bills here, okay, this dollar bill here, okay, this $100 bill here is backed by what? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Now, I don't know if you realize this or not, but our money used to be backed. Money, think about this. Think about this. Back in biblical times or even before, how did people pay each other? Okay? Well, you paid with, maybe give them some milk for their whatever, a bartering system. There was, but everything was backed by silver and gold eventually. Okay? Well, you couldn't take a pocket of gold in your pocket around and shave off a little bit for somebody. Say, okay, I'll buy that bread and milk for this right here, this little shaving. So what they started doing is they said, all right, we're going to have a system of money and it's going to be set up, okay, it's going to be backed by gold. So instead of you having to take gold around in your pockets, they said, we're going to write you a note on a piece of paper, okay? That's all this is. And we're going to say on it, this is a note that's payable for $100 worth of gold. You could redeem it for gold at Fort Knox in Kentucky, basically. All right? And that's our money was based on that. Well, what they did was in 1913, they had the creature from Jekyll Island deal. Okay, they met there. And if you remember, I've touched on this on another video, but if you remember, when did the Titanic go down? The Titanic, it's indestructible. It cannot go down. It went down around that time, right along in there. And the reason they were able to pull it off is there were some big money people in early America in the 1900s that did not want to do this. Okay, the Rothschilds had basically gotten control of the world through banking, through interest, forever putting people in debt. Okay, there's a reason people can't get out of debt. There's a reason people have credit cards piled up a mile high and they'll never be able to pay them off. Okay, Now, number one, they don't know what they're doing with their money, okay, because they just go crazy. We're not taught anything about money. Think about this. Were you taught anything about money in high school, in middle school? Were you ever taught basic how to balance a checkbook? No. No. See, they don't want you to learn all that. In fact, but when you turn 18, guess what they're going to start sending you? Credit cards. Okay? And most people don't have or didn't have the wisdom, I'd say, that my parents had, because they taught me there's no such thing as a credit card, Brad. This is called a convenience card. Okay, you see this? This is called a convenience card. All right? And you don't buy anything that you don't have the money to pay for it. Okay? You don't have to buy anything. All right? So the bottom line is, if you can't pay it off at the end of the month, you don't buy it. We don't do interest. We don't make payments. Okay? And I learned that a long time ago. All right? And I've tried to live by that pretty much my whole life. Okay? And it's kept me out of a lot of trouble. Most people didn't have that upbringing. They didn't have that wisdom. And they are now in debt forever. Okay? And that's what this whole system was set up, including the school system, to put you into eternal slavery in debt. Okay? So the bottom line is this. Okay? You have to, so they created this. Okay, let me get back to the Titanic. Okay? Some big money people were against it. They said, we cannot be like Europe. We cannot get owned by these, because Mrs. Rothschild, the original Mrs. Rothschild, said this: I care not. Okay? She said, I care not who runs the government. I only, if long as my sons are running the money supply, it matters who not makes the laws, or something like that. Weird language, you know. But basically, it matters not who makes the laws as long as my sons are running the money supply. See? And they have basically grabbed the governments of the world by the throat. They have us by the throat, and they can do whatever they want to. And she said, there's never been a war started. There's never been a war started that wasn't financed by my sons. Both sides. So they create wars, pit one group against another. Okay? World War I, World War II, the Civil War. They were involved in the Civil War as well. Okay? All of this is researchable. You can see it. Okay? So the bottom line is, that's what we are. And the Titanic was sunk on purpose. The Titanic was run into icebergs on purpose, and to kill those people that were against this. They had to get them out of the way so they could get their thing through Congress and get it done. And that's what they did. And that's how we got what's called the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is not, hold on. Okay, sorry. I was looking at something there. The Federal Reserve is not a federal. That's a name to fool people. There's nothing federal about it. It's owned by the Rothschilds. Okay? The Federal Reserve is owned by the Rothschilds and these international bankers, fraud, cabal, deep state cabal, okay, Luciferian people. That's what it's owned by. Okay, it's a privately owned bank. All right, that's right. All the way back to Napoleon, they financed. That's right, exactly right. Okay, now here's the deal. They came out with this paper money. Okay, it means it's not backed by anything. It's backed by only what they say it's backed with. That's how they can manipulate the economy. That's the way they can manipulate interest rates. They can do whatever they want to. Okay, and your money is really worth nothing. It's a piece of paper. It's backed by nothing. Okay, so here's the thing, and I realize I'm really kind of ashamed. I'm not doing a good job explaining this tonight, but just hang with me here. Okay, so what Nesara is going to do is going to be, they are going to reinstate, it's going to reinstate the gold standard. that Nixon took us off of in 1974, I guess. It's going to reinstate the gold standard. And all of our money is going to be backed by actual gold and silver and precious metals, okay? Which is the way it should be, all right? Not just making up stuff, all right? Now, the minute this happens, it's over for the cabal. The minute this happens, it is over for the deep state, global, cabal, Luciferian families, because now they can't run their pedophilia, adrenochrome harvesting, rob us blind, keep us in slavery for life, debt machine any longer. It's over, okay? And that's why on September the 11th, 2001, at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, 8 a.m. Central, where I lived in Missouri at the time, I went to work at the school, and I was called to the office by the principal. And I went down there, and he said, look at this on TV. Look at what's going on, coach. And I saw what all of you saw. I saw the World Trade Centers collapsing. I saw the supposed planes that flew into them. I saw all of this stuff. In fact, I saw the second one that happened when they said the second plane flew in there. I saw it live while they were showing what was going on. And, oh no, here comes another one. Boom. Okay, that happened 1 hour before this was all to be released. Because why? They couldn't let this happen. This is the end of them. So, and we know the Bushes. We know the Bushes are New World Order people. We know they're in on it. We know all of these people are in on this stuff. Obama, Biden, all of them. Okay? And, that really bothered me for a long time because I thought that Bushes were good people. I was fooled back then. I didn't know any better. None of us did. Okay? But the more you research, the more you find out. Okay? So now, that's kind of brings us to where we are now. There's a lot more I could share here, but I'm going to try to get to the little video right here, okay? So this guy, like I said, he's speaking like an Englishman, but you could probably understand him a little better than you can a Southerner like myself, okay? So we'll get to it. Let me turn it around here. This guy's got him a cool hairdo, don't he? Brill cream. All right, here we go. I started it kind of in the middle here where I wanted it.
Live on the same.
Okay. Why is the speaker not working? Let me click it again. Let's see if it works this time.
Fragile planet.
No, of course not. Okay, let's see if this works. For some of you that's thinking I'm faking this, making it technical difficulties with Brad, I'm not faking it. I don't know why it's not working. This is truly happening again. Get in there. Trying to get the thing to go in the hole. Hold on, I got to get up out of my chair. Hold on. All right. Let's see if this works. See, it's turning off. And I don't understand. Now it says it's on. Now it says it's off. That's crazy. That is plumb crazy.
Not continue with a global anarchy
It's
and
working.
gangster-controlled governments that are corrupt behind all the global money systems. We need something. We're coming into a better age, and we need to play and work in a different way. Basically, this could remove all the dark cabal agents and administration officials, beginning with members of U.S. Congress, from their positions due to continual unconstitutional actions, and others thereafter around the world. As of 2016, things really started hotting up, and a lot of people were looking to Donald Trump, saying that he was going to be enacting all of this, and the gold-backed standard currency would be coming from him, and he'd be the go-to man. But it actually goes back to Bill Clinton, and that's where the story really actually begins. So we're going to start looking at the history, starting with him. Here we go. In early 1993, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled on charges by the Farmers Union that banks in the U.S. were fraudulently foreclosing on farm mortgages.
Tell you what, I'm going to read it myself. Okay, I think you can understand me better than you can him. In early 93, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled on charges by the Farmers Union that banks in the U.S. were fraudulently foreclosing on farm mortgages and that the U.S. government was in collusion with these banks. The testimony and proof brought into court by a retired CIA agent led to further evidence and proof that the Farmers Union claims were legitimate. It also led to evidence the income tax amendment was never properly ratified by the required number of states, and therefore income taxes were unlawful. Almost unanimously, the U.S. Supreme Court justices ruled in favor of the Farmers Union. The justices recognized that overwhelming evidence proved the U.S. government and the Federal Reserve banking system were perpetrating fraud in many ways upon many Americans. Okay? The justices recognized that to remedy this situation, massive reformations would be required. When rulings are made by the U.S. Supreme Court, one or more justices are assigned to monitor a process by which the rulings are carried out. In this case, 5 justices were assigned to a committee to develop steps to implement required government and banking reformations. As the justices went about developing the required reformations, they enlisted the help of experts in economics, monetary systems, banking, constitutional government, and law, and many other related areas. The justices built coalitions of support and assistance with large groups of people worldwide. These groups working to bring us Nesara have been named White Knights or the White Hats. I'm sure you've heard that before, haven't you? The term White Knights was borrowed from the world of big business when a vulnerable company is rescued from a hostile takeover by a White Knight corporation or a wealthy person. Certainly these people fighting to bring Americans and the world the benefits of Nesara and to rescue our people from government and banking fraud deserve to be called White Knights. Because of the enormously sweeping changes, the rulings required an extremely strict gag order was placed on everyone directly involved, and the court case records were sealed until after the reformations were accomplished. To maintain secrecy, the case details for the docket number assigned to the Farmers Union case were changed. So doing a search for this case will fail to reflect the correct information until after the reformations are made public. At every step of the process, anyone directly involved has been required to sign an agreement to keep the U.S. Supreme Court's process of implementing the required reformations secret, quote, unsecret, end quote, secret, or face charges of treason which are punishable by death. To implement the required reformations, the 5 justices spent years negotiating how the reformations would occur in agreements called accords with the U.S. government, with the Federal Reserve Bank owners, with the International Monetary Fund, and the World Bank, and with numerous other countries, including the UK and countries of the Eurozone. The U.S. banking system reformations require the Federal Reserve Bank system to be absorbed by the U.S. Treasury Department and the bank's fraudulent activities stopped, as well as remedies to U.S. citizens for past harm due to fraud. The U.S. banking reformations will impact the entire world, and therefore the IMF, World Bank, and other countries had to be involved. Now, I want you to go back up right here to let me get my little pointer here. Require the Federal Reserve Bank system right here at the top, system to be absorbed by the U.S. Treasury Department. Now, I don't know if you remember this, but this actually happened during Trump's term. I think it was last year. Okay. the U.S. Treasury, the Federal Reserve was absorbed into the U.S. Treasury. Okay, this happened, I think it was last year in 2020 or 2019. I think it's 2020. All right, here we go. Because the process of using accords to implement the reformations did not work, the justices authorized the reformations be put into the form of a law named the National Economic Security and Reformation Act, Nesara, which was passed secretly in March 2000 and signed by Bill Clinton. Okay, so the word is I've heard they forced him to sign it, basically. Again, secrecy was maintained by revising the official records. Details of the bill number for Nesara were revised to reflect a commemorative coin and revised again more recently. Members of Congress have been ordered by the U.S. Supreme Court justices to deny the existence of Nesara or face charges of treason punishable by death. Some members of Congress have been charged with obstruction and threatened with treason charges. Therefore, all members of Congress pretend that Nesara has not been passed in order to comply with the justice's gag order. Okay, Nesara provides major financial benefits to American citizens. This is kind of hard to read. Including U.S. Treasury bank system, which absorbs the Federal Reserve and new precious metals backed by U.S. Treasury currency. The restoration of constitutional law and the 20 points at the end of this video. Many bank presidents and senior stockbrokers have privately confirmed to close personal friends that they have been briefed about the U.S. Treasury bank system. Now, if you remember, I've told you, okay, so if you remember, I've told you recently about my friend. I've got a friend, okay, that lives out in Nebraska somewhere that I won't get into, but I have a friend and they have a contact. They're a good friend of theirs is a doctor in Colorado, okay? And this doctor, and I know this guy like the back of my hand. I'd trust him with my life, okay? He's that kind of good old boy, okay? And he said he trusts this doctor like he would his own father. And he said he had a relationship with the doctor for 10 years. And the doctor saved a lady's grandchild's life. And this lady is in banking, big in banking. And the lady is actually, again, there's two people between her and the president. Okay? And she has been up in Washington for now over 2 months working on this. And she said, Nesara is going to happen. The revaluation of currency is going to take place, and it could take place at any minute, but they think it's going to be within, at least in the next 30 days, they're saying, unless something big happens like 9/11 again, possibly. Pray to God it doesn't, okay? But that is the case, okay? And so you're probably, again, thinking, well, what does all this have to do with us? I'm going to tell you in just a minute, but this is big. Big, 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 okay? This is so big, okay? And again, if I didn't know these people personally, I probably would have a time with, believing all of it. But I know that I know this person is good as, his word is good as gold. And so, again, the lady hasn't come home. She's been there for a couple of months, and they said it's working and it's going to happen at any moment. Okay, so I'll get back over to it here. Okay. All right, so where was I here? All right, the U.S. Treasury bank system, which absorbs the Federal Reserve and new precious metals backed by okay, I've already read that. Many bank presidents and senior stockbrokers have privately confirmed to the close personal friends that they have been briefed about the U.S. Treasury bank system. Okay. In June of 2000, news of the secret Nesara law passage came from U.S. naval intelligence contacts and some of the white knights who have assisted the justices in activities involving Nesara. Many powerful groups have tried to stop the announcement and implementation of the Nesara law, which provides major financial improvements for Americans. Okay, now this is where it's fixing to get good for you. So what happened next? The U.S. President Bill Clinton then signed Nesara into law on October the 10th, 2000, but no one wanted to enforce it because this law required the physical and permanent removal from their government positions of all those who had deliberately acted outside the Constitution. Those who were treasonous included the United States President and Vice President, the Presidential Cabinet, members of Congress, various government department heads, all governors of the 50 states, judges, and others. Okay? Now, I'll let this play starting right here.
The plan was supposed to be enacted at 10 a.m. on September the 11th, 2001, and it was due to take place at the World Trade Center because of its importance on the global monetary system. As the theory goes, 9/11 was actually an attempt by shadow government to stop Nesara from being enacted so as to ensure that banks around the world would not collapse. However, the computers and the data of the beneficiaries of the trillions of dollars of prosperity funds were destroyed on the second floor of one of the World Trade Center towers during the so-called terrorist attacks. So that is the overview and the history of Nesara. So what are the current updates? Well, let's have a look. Plans are now attributed to Trump, who is said to have secretly signed the enforcement of Gesara as...
Okay, so speaker cut off again there. Plans are now attributed to Trump. Now, this was in December of 15th of 2020 when this little video was done. Okay. Plans are now attributed to Trump, who is said to have secretly signed the enforcement of Gesara as part of the Paris Agreement. Now, remember, Gesara is the global, okay? Nesara is the national, just us. So we have one, the rest of the globe has one. Okay, and there are reports that the UN and other countries are interested or have already signed up to this agreement, although nothing is 100% transparent yet. However, it says see Pimpy's investment channel as he discusses how it has already begun. Now, if you'll remember, I don't know if those of you that have been with me a long time, since November when we started doing these little talk shows, okay, remember we was on Santa Surfing a few times, okay, Santa Surfer, and she had examples of people that had their debt erased. They called in about their student loan debt, and it was totally gone, totally erased, with no explanation. And this has been happening to lots and lots of people, okay? It's not widespread yet, but there's lots of people reporting this is happening to them, okay? So let me keep going here, okay? Gesara will involve the release of thousands of secret patents for technologies such as free energy and could make the use of hydrocarbons redundant. This also includes medications and treatments. An announcement of Gesara at the UN would affect the Republic along with the rest of the world, amounting to a total of 206 sovereign nations potentially joining. Okay? The IMF will announce the global gold standard monetary system once Gesara is announced at the UN. All remaining fiat currencies will be cashed in for gold standard currency. Paper money could eventually be phased out and all currencies will be digital under the new financial system. However, it is believed coinage will exist in the form of precious metals. Okay? Now, note, on March the 22nd, 2018, a bill was introduced into the U.S. House of Representatives that referred to H.R. 5404, the return to a gold-backed U.S. dollar. President Nixon took us off the gold standard in 72 and introduced us to the dark cabal fiat money system. Okay? Now, note, there is an ever-growing number of indictments being filed against dark cabal agents. As of April 1st, 2020, more than 150,000 indictments have been filed into U.S. federal courts across America with crimes ranging from pedophilia to child exploitation to treason. Nearly 17,000 of these indictments have been unsealed and served, and arrests have been made. Now, you might be saying, well, where are they all? Why aren't they made? Well, first of all, the media, remember, is in cahoots with all of this. They're not going to tell you about them, and most of them have been lower level people. They haven't been the big guys yet, okay? So that's why. What is a gold-backed dollar? The money has value. You could effectively go into the Federal Reserve and exchange the note for its equivalent value in gold, whereas federal notes, in basic terms, what we have right now, are backed by a promise only of support limited to their currency's value. Okay? Now, here's what Nesara is supposed to do. And we're going to go through them. Number one, there's 20 things. Number one. Now, and let me say this before I go into this. Okay, let me say this. For those of you that are like me when I first saw this, you're having a hard time believing this. Okay? My dad used to teach me it's something that all of you have learned, I'm sure, over the years. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Okay? And, I've heard that all my life. And, but I'll tell you this, I've been in a business for 15, 16 years now that is too good to be true, but it's true. Okay? I mean, if you think about it, there's lots of things in life that if I told you, hey, here's something that's not, I mean, who would have ever thought you could pick up your cell phone, okay, and push a couple numbers and be talking to someone across the world in seconds? I mean, wouldn't you say that's too good to be true? I mean, who would have ever thought that you could have a spaceship? Who would have ever thought any of these things, okay, at one time? But now we know them to be just normal, everyday things. I'll give you one that's bad. It's not too good to be true. It's too bad to be true, okay, is this right here, okay? If I would have told you in December of 2019, December of 2019, if I would have told you there's going to be a point here in the next few months where everyone in the world is going to be wearing these silly masks on their face, and no one's going to be able to go anywhere. They're going to put you in your house, and you can't go anywhere really. And if you do, you have to wear these masks, and nobody can see your face, and all of this stuff. And they're going to shut down March Madness. They're going to shut down schools. They're going to shut down businesses. People are going to lose their life savings. People are going to lose everything. Homes, everything. How many of you would believe that? There's not one person. There's not one person that would have believed that. And if you're saying you do, you're lying. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but you're a liar. Okay? No one would have ever believed that. But yet here we are. See? So I know it's hard to believe, but hang with me. There's a lot here, okay? All right? And I'm also going to address, probably not tonight, but I'm also going to address folks that are concerned about the mark of the beast. And is this end time prophecy? And is this, all of this, is it going to that? And I'm going to be honest with you right now. I do not believe in any way, shape, or form right now that this has anything to do with the mark of the beast as spoken of in Revelation. Okay? Now, I think it could eventually go there. And we know that it eventually will go there because we know the word to be true. It's going to happen at some point. Is it going to happen right now? In my opinion, no. Okay? I don't think we're there yet. Okay? But it's going to happen sooner or later down the road. We don't know where that is. None of us do. And you start trying to put dates on things, especially when it comes to those kind of things, biblical things, I think you're making a big mistake, okay? Because that's beyond our knowledge right now, okay? But I will tell you this. There's never before been a time, when I was a kid, we used to read about it, and it didn't really make sense to you because you couldn't understand how that could happen. Well, now today, the system is in place. We could actually have Mark of the Beast coming soon. And you know what? And I could be wrong. It may be this, but I don't believe it is. And there's some reasons why, and I'll get into that later, okay? But for now, and I think somebody just said something. I'll just point that. I'm just going to go with that right now for right now. Who said this? Let me see here. New World Order, Melissa Bray Smith said, New World Order is, I don't believe Nesara is, I think Trump stopped it. And I think you're right, Melissa. I think that there's a conspiracy, obviously, to get us to this point. And I think Trump set it back. I think what they planned for evil, God used Trump to spin it for good, so to speak. All right? And again, we'll go in more into that later. I want to get to this right here. Okay, so let me turn it back around and get back to what I was going to show you here. Okay, so here's some things Nesara is supposed to do. Okay, number one, zeroes out all credit card, mortgage, and other bank debt due to illegal banking and government activities. This is the Federal Reserve's worst nightmare, a jubilee or a forgiveness of debt. Okay, there's references in the Bible to a jubilee. Okay, a forgiveness of debt. That's number one. Okay, number two. Okay, number two.
Forgiveness of debt. Number two.
Abolishes the income tax. Okay, abolishes the income tax. Now you might say, okay, well, why would it do that? Why would it forgive all mortgages and all our debt? Why would it do that? Well, because what they're saying is the deep state cabal, these Luciferians, have gone out and they have literally stolen from us. They've stolen everything from us. They've stolen our money. They've stolen, they've put us in eternal debt. Now, let me just tell you right now, up front, let me stop this before I go any further. I just saw a comment and I need to address it because it's true. Do not go out and buy a bunch of stuff tomorrow with your credit cards. Okay? If you do, I'm sorry, you're goofier than a run over dog. Okay? If you ever seen one of them, yeah, you crazier than a roach sprayed with Raid. Okay? Running around. Okay? Don't do that. All right? We don't know when it's going to happen for sure. Okay? But again, so just be patient. But again, abolishes income tax, number two. Okay?
Abolishes income tax. Number three.
Abolishes the IRS. Employees of the IRS will be transferred into the U.S. Treasury National Sales Tax area. Number four, creates a 14 to 17% flat rate, non-essential, new items only sales tax revenue for the government. In other words, food and medicine will not be taxed, nor will used items such as old homes. Number five. I guess I have to play it a second here. Increases benefits for senior citizens. Now, I don't know a lot about that. That's a general term. Number six, returns constitutional law to all courts and legal matters. Number seven, reinstates the original title of nobility amendment. In other words, it would strip United States citizenship from any citizen who accepted a title of nobility from a foreign country. Okay? Maybe Meghan Markle, maybe? I don't know. Number eight, establishes new presidential and congressional elections within 120 days after Nesara's announcement. The interim government will cancel all national emergencies and return us back to constitutional law. Number nine, monitors elections and prevents illegal election activities of special interest groups. Well, we got plenty of that for you to work on there, Nesara. Okay, number 10, creates a new U.S. Treasury rainbow currency backed by gold, silver, and platinum precious metals, ending the bankruptcy of the U.S. initiated by Franklin Roosevelt in 1933. Number 11, forbids the sale of American birth certificate records as chattel, or whatever you say it, property bonds by the U.S. Department of Transportation. Now, I'm going to come back to that in a few minutes. All right, don't let me forget that. Number 11, okay? Number 12, initiates new U.S. Treasury bank system in alignment with constitutional law. Number 13, eliminates the Federal Reserve System. During the transition period, the Federal Reserve will be allowed to operate side by side of the U.S. Treasury for 1 year in order to remove all Federal Reserve notes from the money supply. Number 14,
notes from the money supply. 14,
restores financial privacy. Okay, not sure about that. Number 15, retrains all judges and attorneys in constitutional law. 16, ceases all aggressive U.S. government military actions worldwide. No more police in the world. Number 17, establishes peace throughout the world. Okay, now again, that to me that's a red flag right there, because again of what we know, if you know the Bible, it talks about the Antichrist. It promises peace all over the world. And again, I think this is part of what Trump has screwed them up on. Okay, and And again, he's changing it to make it good for us. Okay, number 18, releases enormous sums of money for humanitarian purposes. Okay. Number 19, enables the release of over 6,000 patents of suppressed technologies. Free energy, Tesla. Okay, remember Tesla. All right. He had all of his patents stolen. They say by the Bush family. Okay. George H.W. Walker Bush's dad, granddad, those people. Okay. Number 20, initiates first phase of prosperity distribution of vast wealth accumulated for many decades. Okay. So I guess I just turned on a light. I tried to turn it around. Okay. So again, there's a lot here. There's a lot to unpack here, and we can't do it all in one night. I want to go back to number 11 though, and I think it was, what was it about? I'm trying to think. What was number 11? Let me back up here. Make sure I get it right for you here. Well, I'm at number 1. Let me get to number 11 here. Number 10. Let it play.
Rainbow currency backed by gold, silver, platinum, precious metals, ending the bankruptcy of the United States, initiated by Franklin Roosevelt in 1933. Number 11.
Okay. Number 11, forbids the sale of American birth certificate records as chattel property bonds by the U.S. Department of Transportation. Now, I know that sounds absolutely nuts. Okay, I realize it. Okay, but I'll tell you this: there's a lot of proof out here that you and I have a Social Security number. You and I have a birth certificate with a Social Security number, and it's sold as chattel property bonds by the Department of Transportation. I've seen a lot on this. I know this is just, hang with me. I realize it's out there. I realize it sounds completely erroneous and crazy. I'm telling you, there's a lot of proof in this. I'm going to be bringing you this over the next week or so. We're going to be getting into this, okay? It's going to be interesting, okay, to say the least, all right? Now, I talked about, there's going to be a currency revaluation, okay? I'm not going to get into this a lot tonight, but basically, there's going to be currency revaluation. So, the people that said you need to buy Iraqi dinar or something, and all that kind of stuff a long time ago. I've been hearing this for years. You need to get the Iraqi dinar. You need to get the whatever. And I think there's something to it. And I think it's going to be happening soon. And there's going to be a lot of people, that are probably going to do well on it. It's all part of the deal. But again, hey, if they just took care of your mortgage and your credit cards and your car note, that'd be a pretty good start for starters, wouldn't it? Okay. Again, the med beds, I think the med beds are already here. I think we're going to see proof of that over the next few months. There's lots of technologies. I mean, let me ask you something. Do you really think, I want you to think about this for a minute. I've thought about this before, long before I heard any of this. Do you really think, as advanced as society is, that there's not a cure for cancer? That they can't find a cure for cancer? That they can't find a cure for some of these other things? I mean, come on, man. I think they found a cure a long time ago. They don't want to release it. Why? Because that screws up their money chain, their money system. They'd rather Big Pharma would rather keep us on drugs instead of help people. It's all about money and people. And I promise you, money and power corrupts, and absolute money and power corrupts absolutely. Okay? Whatever the saying is. All right? So I think we're going to see some big things happening here. Again, let me finish with this. Do I think it's all leading up to the New World Order? Do I think it's all leading up to the end times? Sure I do. Just like everything else has happened throughout history leading up to that. Okay? But to sit here and say that, oh yeah, this is definitely the mark of the beast. No, I don't believe that at all. Okay? I could be wrong. But based on what I've read and looked into, I don't believe that. Okay? And I think it's easy for us to sensationalize of what we think it's going to be. And I've noticed also everyone wants to be right. They want to say, I told you so, you know. And so, you know, I believe there's a cure for cancer for a long time. But again, if they give the cure, then that's the end of their gravy train. And if you think people wouldn't let people die for money, you're naive, because they do it every day. They do it every day. So I think we're going to have some big, big news coming very soon. And I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be great. You know, it's going to be a time of jubilee, I think, as the Bible calls it. And, you know, so, you know, I think that people are, you know, I've seen a lot of people's comments over the last few months here about this stuff on Facebook and other places. Like, well, I'm gonna be mad if they pay off everybody else's stuff because I did good and I didn't get in debt like Brad on credit cards and by George, that's gonna be unfair. And you know, man, I just want to tell the people, just shut up, man. Okay, I mean, it's gonna help you too. It's gonna help everyone. Okay, and that's what it's about. Okay, and it's about giving people's money back to them. Okay, it's been robbed, stolen blind all these years through high interest rates and other things. And so with that, we will call it a night. I'm going to be back tomorrow night, and we're going to get more in depth into Nesara, Gesara. Okay, so get your seatbelt on. It's going to get interesting tomorrow night. Okay, it's going to get interesting. And but I wanted to just give you a basic tonight, just some basic things to think about. Look up the creature from Jekyll Island. Do some little research on that, okay? And in the meantime, and then we'll get back on it again tomorrow night, okay? I have, for those of you, let me say this real quick. For those of you that have wanted to contribute, or again, I've had tons of people on here saying, Brad, we want to help. We want to donate. We want to do whatever to help with the website. Okay. I learned a long time ago, I'm not going to take people's blessing away from them. If they want to do that, that's fine. You can Venmo my wife's account, Kristen, with an I, Kristin. Listen carefully. There's an EN out there. It's a scam. It's somebody claiming to be her. It's not her. Kristin Barton 17, the number 17. And you'll see a picture of all of us on there, me and my wife and kids. Okay. If you don't do Venmo, you want to mail something, I got a P.O. box now. Okay. The P.O. box is P.O. Box 353. Okay. Yes, it will affect you in the Philippines too. It's going to affect the whole world. Okay. P.O. Box 353, Hickson, Tennessee, Hixson. Okay. Hixson, Tennessee, TN 37343. P.O. Box 353, Hickson, Tennessee 37343. And let me just say this. You know, I don't need anybody to give anything. You know, I got people on Facebook talking all kind of stupid stuff. You know, nobody has to give a dime. Okay, I'm not asking you to. All right, I'm just opening it up for people that have requested to do so. So don't feel obligated. Please do not. If you want to bless us, that's fine. If you don't, there's no problem at all. We love you all the same. Okay? And, it's amazing to me, and I learned this a long time ago in business. It's amazing to me, people are so against socialism. I mean, they are against it. Boy, I hate socialism. And somebody sent me this shirt. Isn't this good? Socialism distancing since 1776. I mean, but people are, boy, I'm against socialism. I'm against that. I'm for capitalism, boy, capitalism. And as soon as they think somebody else is going to get some money or do better than them, you know what they do? I can't believe they asking for money. It's just, you talking about a hypocrite. Okay. All right. It's just hilarious. People are so jealous of other people. It's just unbelievable. Okay. And so again, I'm not asking for a dime. If you feel led to do that, you can. Okay. That's all I'm going to say about that. All right. So let's pray. Lord Jesus, God, thank you for tonight. Thank you for these people on here. Thank you for their love for you and their love for this country. And Lord, we pray for our country. We want our country back. We want our country to be what it was for us as we grew up. Lord, we are concerned. We repent of our apathy and our just unwillingness to get involved. And just, again, apathy, laying around and not worrying about anything, letting other people, shirking our responsibilities as good citizens in our civic duty, allowing evil to overtake us. And because, Lord, we want this country to be here for our kids and their kids and their posterity for years and years, like it was for us. Lord, again, we thank you. We thank you for President Trump. We thank you. We believe you have used him. We believe you are going to use him some more. And we stand on what the prophets have stated, that Trump will be back for a second term. And Lord, I pray that you would let that come sooner than later. And God, I pray that you'd be with his family and his inside group. All of them, give them supernatural wisdom, courage, strength. Help them have no fear. Help them be empowered by your Spirit to do what you would have them do. For this country was founded upon you, God, and your principles, to be a light unto the world, to carry the gospel of the Jesus Christ to all the world. That's what this country was founded upon. And Lord, I pray that you would give us that chance again. Lord, revive us. Lord, help us to wake up from our slumber. And Lord, just pray you'd bless everyone on here. Give them the peace that passes all understanding. And know that ultimately, no matter what, we're in your hands. You've got our six. You've got our back. You've got our whole being. And we're yours. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. Okay, guys, we'll be back tomorrow night. And same time, same channel, unless things change. I'll let you know if the scavenger hunt and the Chasing Brad goes into overdrive. Okay? So, again, subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we're going to be there in the next few days, hopefully. All right? And again, you can look it up. You can go to my Facebook page and you can see the links all there. You can click on them. Also, our Rumble page, click on that. I will be putting this on the Rumble page and probably the YouTube page as well here when I get done. Okay? God bless. Have a great night. Good night from Chattanooga, Tennessee. This is Brad signing off.